The fish with sharp teeth. Once upon a time, Sarah and her friends, Maya, Ethan, and Jack, decided to escape the busy city life and spend a day at the peaceful Bluewood Lake. It was a hidden gem they had discovered on a hiking trip a year before, surrounded by lush greenery, towering pines, and the soothing sounds of nature. The clear water shimmered under the golden rays of the sun, making it the perfect spot for a fishing adventure. Armed with fishing rods, tackle boxes, and a cooler filled with snacks, they set up camp near the water's edge. Laughter echoed as they cast their lines into the lake, anticipating a leisurely day of fishing and friendly competition over who would catch the biggest fish. The morning passed quietly, with birds chirping in the trees and a soft breeze rustling through the leaves. They hadn't caught much, but no one seemed to mind. For Sarah, being out in nature, away from her desk job, was refreshing enough. But as the sun reached its highest point in the sky, Sarah suddenly felt a strong pull on her line. Her heart raced with excitement. Finally, a catch! She thought. "Guys, I think I've got something," she yelled, drawing the attention of her friends. The real word loudly as she struggled to pull the fish in. Whatever was on the other end was fighting back with surprising strength. Ethan rushed over to help. "That's a big one, Sarah," he encouraged. With one final tug, the fish broke the surface of the water and landed with a splash near their feet. Sarah gasped. The creature that lay before them was unlike any fish she had ever seen. It was large, much larger than she expected, its scaly body shimmering in shades of murky green and gray. Its mouth was wide, revealing rows of sharp, needle-like teeth that glinted menacingly in the sunlight. "Whoa, that's one ugly fish," Jack muttered, his eyes wide. Maya, ever the animal lover, suggested, "We should probably let it go. It looks dangerous." Quote.
Sarah nodded. She carefully bent down to release the fish, reaching for its slimy body. But as soon as she touched it, the fish thrashed wildly, slipping from her hands and leaping into the air. Before anyone could react, it clamped down on Sarah's arm with its razor-sharp teeth. Sarah screamed in agony. The bite was deep, and blood gushed from the wound, staining the grass below. Her friends were stunned for a moment, frozen by the sight of the vicious fish still latched onto her arm. Ethan was the first to react, grabbing a nearby stick and whacking the fish off Sarah's arm. It flopped violently on the ground before finally retreating back into the lake with a splash, leaving Sarah clutching her arm in pain. Maya immediately tore off a piece of her shirt to use as a bandage, wrapping Sarah's bleeding arm as best she could. But the wound was deep, and the bleeding wouldn't stop. Panic set in as they realized they had no cell signal and were miles away from help. "We have to get her to a hospital. Now," Jack said urgently, his voice trembling. Without wasting another second, they gathered their things, abandoning their fishing gear. Ethan and Jack supported Sarah as they made their way through the dense woods to the car. Every step was a painful reminder of the seriousness of the situation. Sarah's vision blurred as the pain intensified, but she forced herself to stay conscious, gritting her teeth. After what felt like an eternity, they reached the car. Jack drove like never before, speeding down the dirt roads as fast as he could, while Maya kept pressure on Sarah's wound in the backseat. The ride seemed endless, the only sound the panicked breaths of her friends and the roar of the engine. Finally, they arrived at the nearest hospital, a small, rustic building in a nearby town. The doctors acted quickly, treating Sarah's injury and managing to save her arm. As they stitched up the deep wound, the doctor explained that the fish's bite had narrowly missed vital tendons, which could have resulted in permanent damage. Though Sarah was relieved to hear her arm would heal, the experience had shaken her deeply. The wound left a long scar running down her forearm, a constant reminder of that terrifying day by the lake. The friends never forgot the lesson they learned that day. What was supposed to be a relaxing day outdoors had turned into a nightmare because of something they had not prepared for. From that point forward, they made a vow to never go into the wilderness without a first aid kit, proper gear, and a healthy respect for the unpredictability of nature. And though they occasionally returned to the lake for picnics and hikes, fishing was something Sarah swore she would never do again. The lake, once peaceful and serene, had forever been altered in her mind, becoming a place of danger and fear. But the scar on her arm was more than just a mark of that fateful encounter. It was a symbol of survival, of friendship, and of the strength they all showed when faced with the unexpected.